Bennett feeling serious this morning.
All right, welcome to River City Sports Media, River at the Roundtable, episode 5. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for tuning in. Today's cast, we got the Radar Trent running everything behind the screen for us today. To my left, we have Hit 'em and Pick 'em Hines, which I have a bone to pick with you at the end of the show, which we will get to that, all right? To my far right, we got the great hair Gavin Race that is here today.
A little bit shorter than
it is a little bit shorter. I noticed that. You got it trimmed up a little bit since last show, so I'm a little jealous. So I wish if I could grow hair, I would. So you should have gave it to me. I could have used it. So and then our special guest today, we got Mason Parker from Portsmouth West High School, 2025 graduate, who will be departing in the next couple weeks to make his way to High Dominican University to further his education and football career. Mason, appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for coming and meeting with us.
Thanks for having me.
So, so just to kind of let you guys know kind of what we do. As we started the River City Sports Media, one thing we want to do was shine and show the kids in the SOC in this area who have worked their tails off, who have that opportunity to further their career in education and sports at the college level. So the one way we want to do this, bring guys like you in, girls, all athletes in, across the board, and basically say, hey, what was your recruiting process, all this, that, and we're going to go through those questions. But basically give you guys the shine that you deserve for all the hard work that you guys put in, all right? So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Hines, you want to take the first one?
Yeah.
Could you read that?
Yeah. So, in your career, you've been playing for a long time, obviously. What point did you decide you wanted to play college sports?
I mean, it was always kind of like a dream, but going into 7th grade, I'd never even really been in the backfield before. So I worked really hard that summer, and then I had a great year, so it kind of seemed more realistic for me, and that's when I really started chasing it.
So junior high is really when it started.
Yeah.
That's when it clicked for you?
Yeah.
So saying that, in the career that you had at West, you played on both sides of the ball. Has High Dominican give you any idea on which side of the ball you're going to be when you come on campus?
Yeah, they want me to play running back. That's what I wanted to play in college. I had some teams talk to me about defense, but I really wanted to play offense.
Gavin?
You talked about playing both sides of the ball. You had over 200 career tackles, over 300 scrimmage yards. Do you think the amount that you were able to play on both sides of the ball, being from a smaller school like West in this region, a lot of kids in this area have the opportunity to play both sides of the ball, where kids from bigger schools, they really only get the opportunity to play either offense or defense. Do you think that's going to help your versatility when you go to school?
Yeah, it definitely will, because I'll be able to play both sides of the ball if they need me to. But I feel like high school wise, it may have hurt me a little bit, because I'm carrying the ball. Say we have 15 plays on offense, and then we punt. 13 of those, I probably had the ball, and then I got to go. Say they have 10 plays of offense, I'm playing those 10 plays, and outside linebacker, I'm taking that guard on every single time. It kind of wears me down as the game goes on.
So you got the carries of each game, double-digit carries, the wear and tear on your body. And the flip side of that is now I got to go flip to the defensive side, take on the offensive lineman, still try to follow my schemes, take on lead blockers at times, and still try to make a tackle if it's away from you, right? Yeah. So the wear and tear on your body. So I can see where it makes sense that it could affect your running ability just from the physicality of playing both sides of the ball for sure. So next question I got for you is this. So you said around junior high is when it clicked that you wanted to go to the next level, be a college athlete, and further your education. How did your recruiting process even get started for you?
Our coach, Todd Gillen, he told me to make a Twitter account, and I looked at Ryan Sissel's Twitter. I just mimicked that, and I tried to text at least 25 to 50 coaches every day. It was just hey, my name's Mason Parker. Gave them my height, weight, and stuff. Sent my films. I'd love to hear back from you. A lot of them, they won't, you won't get responses for a little bit, but the ones you get responses from usually get some good traction.
So during that process when it started for you, were you going to camps to showcase your stuff and stuff like that as well?
My advice for camps is I would not go to any camp that a coach has not physically invited you to, because sometimes they're just trying to get your money. But if you're talking to the coach and they're inviting you, I would definitely go seek out the opportunity.
That's a good point, because I know historically, when I coached, travel softball, that was feedback that I always got from college coaches was, if you have a player that's invited to this camp, go. If not, and they're just paying to go to camp, all they're doing is funding that program, and they're not interested in them anyway. If they are truly interested in your player as a student athlete, they will invite them to that camp, and they will come for free, pretty much.
That's pretty accurate.
To get that exposure. So, and the flip side, you said, like, knocking the doors down or kicking the doors down to coaches, right? Emailing them, sending them text to them, making that constant contact. Do you feel at some point that maybe with a high Dominican doing that, they're like, hey, maybe we need to put eyes on this kid and see if he fits our program?
Yeah, like when you're messaging them, like the first time they may not respond, just be persistent. Because you got to think there's thousands of kids that want to play college sports. You're not the only one in their DMs. Like, there's a chance that they might be interested in you. They just overlooked your text or something because their DMs are blown up.
So during that whole recruiting process, what do you think was the best fit for you, or the best experience that you had to really give you that opportunity to showcase yourself for colleges to start taking you serious, and or you start narrowing down where you thought you wanted to go?
One more time.
So during that process, what experience, was it a camp, other than the contacts, what type of exposure, was there a recruiting service you might have used or anything like that really put you on the map to help a high Dominican find you, or some other schools who showed interest in you compared to you always reaching out to them?
So we actually played against my coach at a high Dominican. He coached at a high school my sophomore year, and he just talked about how physical we were, and he said that he really liked the way I played, and he kind of followed me since there. But as far as camps and stuff go like that, my head coach at the high school, he was really good. He was always messaging people, giving me the feedback, and then he was giving them my Twitter, and I was doing the same. So yeah, it kind of just.
So Coach Gillen played a big role in it as well for you, reaching out, helping basically be a used car salesman, right? I'm going to sell this kid to the next level, right? Yeah. Which I'm just being honest. That's what a good head coach should do, right? Yeah. If I've got a kid, regardless of sport, as a head coach, part of that responsibility and job should be, if I have a kid who wants to play at the next level, help them find a place to go, right? And I think you would probably vouch for this, Mason. Not every kid is a Division I athlete, right? But if you want to play at the next level, there is a place for you to fit in and find. It may be D2, maybe NAIA, but regardless, if you want to further your education and college and take the avenue as a college athlete, there's a place for you to fit in somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And I think obviously High Dominican is that fit for you. Hines?
Yeah, with the sport landscape now, though, it doesn't really matter where you start. You can end up, anywhere, essentially.
Yeah.
With transfer portal and all that.
Yeah, absolutely, right. And I think the whole process has changed. I think the one thing that's really you've talked about is, Twitter and social media, the way the recruiting stuff is done now. It's all done I'd say majority of it's done right here, right?
Yeah.
It's on your phone, right? Until it gets down to brass tacks of, hey, come on campus, we're ready to meet you, see the campus and that type of stuff. So, but yeah, I'd say social media has probably been a huge
That's
change.
fascinating to me. All the kids you see, though, do have the Twitter or the X or whatever, and all their stats in there. But it is an easy way to look. You can see videos, highlights. It makes sense for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Because everybody's highlight film always looks good.
Yeah.
You talked about the wear and tear you kind of went through during high school. What would your advice be to a kid that's in middle school, junior high level, that's just starting to get into football, about how they should take care of their body going in the day in, day out of football practice and games on the weekend?
You're not always going to feel rough and you're not always going to feel good, but you've got to have that consistency of every day is hey, if I'm taking an ice bath on this day, even if I feel great, I'm still taking that ice bath because tomorrow it may affect me if I don't. You got to do the same thing, get a routine, get that recovery. You got to do the same thing every day you're supposed to.
So related to that question, Gavin, I've known Mason for several years. I know a couple years ago you were really serious about your CrossFit, your training, competing in that as well. Do you feel that gave you maybe a little bit of an advantage as well as far as learning some things as far as recovery and whatnot from a CrossFit aspect?
Yeah, it also built up my mental toughness a lot because I had a trainer, Johnny Charles. Some days it was kind of discouraging. We look at the board and there's 3 hours of work on the board. I was like, man, I got to do this. And you're just thinking about that the whole time, and then at the end you feel really accomplished. So it's man, I can do this. I can do that. So now when I see a hard workout, it's not oh man, I don't know if I can do that. It's like I can do this. Like this isn't that hard. I've done harder.
So would you say from that aspect, mentally, the growth mentally has also prepared you to when you do get to High Dominican, of you coming from West, being the starting tailback, starting outside linebacker, to maybe you're a special teams guy for a year or two before you get that opportunity. Mentally, do you think that has helped prepared you for that, from going from being the big fish in a little pond to being the little fish in the big pond?
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, I didn't like grow up running the ball or anything. I had to work hard for everything I got. So, I mean, that's nothing new to me.
Awesome. Honey?
When so you were probably getting looked at by a few schools. What made you ultimately decide on Ohio Dominican, or who were some of the other schools in play that you were considering?
Well, I was talking to a little bit bigger schools, but I had an unfortunate injury. I really liked Seton Hill. Seton Hill, there was Taylor University, and what was the other one? Indiana Wesleyan. I really liked that one, but I chose Ohio Dominican because when I was there, I liked the players. They were all pretty welcoming. Like it wasn't like we're still gonna be competitors on the field, but like outside of that, like when we met and stuff, like it felt like a family.
Yeah, and that's cool. You mentioned the coach played against you early and followed you and kept recruiting you. So that's probably, that's cool when you feel like a priority and you know the coach has interest for a long time. That should be a good fit.
Absolutely. Gavin?
This is going to be an unrelated question because I've kind of been combing through your stats the whole time I've been sitting here since I got here. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask about this Week 3 game. Hillsborough, you had 47 carries for 311 yards and 4 touchdowns.
I was a little angry that game. So it was a rain delay, and our coach came in, and he was like, boys, they just ordered Wingstop. And I was sitting there, and I was like bet.
Was it kind of just you walked in the huddle and you're just like, give me the ball?
Yeah, I told Coach, I was like, hey, man, he's like, it's just me and you tonight. I was like, all right.
47 carries is wild.
Yeah, they had 135 yards of offense, and I had 311. So I don't think they'll order Wingstop before a game again.
So Mason was sharing with me prior to starting the podcast today. His roommate at High Dominican, he actually played against in that game, is from Hillsborough.
Wow.
Yeah.
So talk about rubbing mud in your face, right?
Yeah. So
I would say probably your first day is I would walk in there with a Wingstop bag and say, here.
I probably will.
Yeah,
I'll text him after this, tell him to watch it.
Yeah, right. That's good stuff, man. So what advice is there anything that you for maybe some younger kids that are watching? Is there anything from a role model aspect or advice you would give them on how to prepare themselves going through high school to get ready for the college way?
Just be patient. Don't compare your process to anyone else. Like everyone's going to be different. Like you're going to have that freshman that is 6'4" and runs a 4.5. They're going to get the offers early, and it's nothing to worry about. Your time's coming. Just keep working hard.
So let me ask you this question. I know this is a question I used to always ask my girls when I coached softball was, when it come down to choosing school, and obviously you chose the High Dominican, I always told my girls, don't choose a college or university based on the opportunity how soon you can play or playing that sport. Is the question I always told them to ask themselves was, if you decide at some point that you have a career-ending injury, you decide you quit playing that sport, would you stay at that university or college and finish and get your degree? And if the answer was yes, then that's where you need to go. If the answer was no, because you're going to just play a sport, that's probably not the right place for you to go to begin with. So
I agree with that.
how do you feel like, you talk about it felt like a family and the atmosphere and stuff when you walked in there. So
I would definitely recommend choosing a school that wants you, like one that's like serious about you. And, definitely what you said, like if I had a career-ending injury, I could definitely see myself staying at Ohio Dominican because there's a great opportunity up there for me.
Awesome. Hanji? Got anything else?
Hey, we're going to do the picks.
I was going to say, before we let you go, we're going to do the first half of our picks before we go to baseball. We're going to pick our softball games because West, they went and pulled themselves an upset against Nelsonville, York the other night. A big one, 16-2.
Yes.
So they're playing Leesburg Fairfield, who they lost to earlier in the season, but you made a good point about this softball team.
West by 90.
Yeah, Mason was making a good point. Tell us why West is going to win tonight.
Okay, West is going to win tonight because when we played them at the beginning of the season, We had a bunch of new girls. We graduated a lot of girls over the last 2 years that played for 4 years straight. They were all sophomores playing for their first time ever. So don't be surprised when West is headed to the regional semifinals tonight.
There you go.
I like it.
I'm telling him.
Yeah, and there's a couple other teams playing tonight. Zane Trace and Piketon play. You mentioned Zane Trace last week and said don't be surprised if they make some noise, and here they are in a district championship as a 15 seed.
Yes.
So that is
Yeah, Coach Gino up there. Yes.
that is something that, I mean, granted, whoever you play in the regular season, you come in as a 15 seed in Division 5 and make that kind of run, that's pretty darn impressive.
Yeah.
So whatever happens with them tonight in their game against Piketon, who, by the way, Piketon a lower seed than Ironton, who they just beat, I think it's been a huge – and you said they're very young as well.
Yes, they are young. Very young. They're another young team that's out there as well. So, Hines, St. Trace, Piketon, what's your pick 'em and hit 'em for that one?
I'm going Python.
Piketon?
Yeah.
He doesn't believe. I think the slipper still fits. Zane Trace is winning.
There you go.
There you go. We got one more?
Colgrove and Peebles play tonight. Colgrove, they are a 2 seed. They rolled over South Webster in the first one. South Webster, obviously, you said they've kind of struggled this year.
Bad year for South Webster in softball after making a state run last year.
After making a state
Yeah,
run.
they barely had enough girls to play this year.
I think Colgrove wins that one.
I'm going to follow Gavin on that.
Colgrove's got a really good pitcher.
And at the end, once you make the tournament, if you have a really good pitcher that you can ride through the whole thing,
Yeah.
I think that is a big deal.
100%. It is. If you've got a dominant pitcher in high school softball, I'll go back. You know, Coach Ruby at Willisburg, when she won a state championship at Clay, they had one player. They had a dominant pitcher that went D1, and that was all they had. And she won a state championship behind that kid on the bump. I mean, so they were beating teams 1-0, and she was okay with that. So
Win's a win.
that's it, right?
Right.
So is that over picks?
That's all we got for softball tonight. Kind of
right.
slim pickings on a Friday night, but
Yeah, exactly, right. So we want to thank our sponsors, the Soda River, Portsmouth Brewing Company, the Portsmouth UPS store, Haynes Chevrolet in South Webster, Deemer's Food Fair in Willersburg. Without those guys sponsoring us, we would not be able to bring you what we do. And we love what we do. Make sure you follow us on social media, RCSM740, X, Twitter, Facebook, the Gram, all the good stuff, right? Make sure you follow us on there, because when you're old like me, we don't do all that
And
stuff.
Mason, where can people follow you, either personally or while you're at Ohio Dominican?
On Instagram, my username is Mason Parker 2509.
Mason
All right.
Parker, 2509. Well, Mason, we appreciate you coming in, giving us a little bit of tidbit on your recruiting process, why you chose Ohio Dominican. Obviously, good luck to you. You had an outstanding high school career at West Portsmouth. Played for a good coach with Coach Gillum. Sounds like he did his part to help you out to get to where you were going. We will definitely keep track and follow you. And Gavin has something that he does with some college kids. It's called Gavin's Greats. So obviously, you get next year or so in, and then we can go
I'll
back
be
and
keeping
recap.
track.
All of our area athletes are at the next level, and highlight you on Gavin's Greats.
I'll be keeping track.
With that, let's go to commercial break, and we will be back.
We'll be right back.
It's probably crutch.
All right, River City Sports Media, we are back with episode 5. We've still got Hit 'em and Pick 'em Hines. We've got Gavin on the end, myself, and then 2 special guests we have in here right now, both graduates from Memphis High School. We have Myles Montgomery, who is headed to West Liberty University to further his career in basketball and education, and Bennett Kayser, who's headed to Nova Southeastern, which I am very jealous because it's headed to Florida and it will have great weather all the time, other than a little bit of rain every now and then.
Yeah.
So, guys, we appreciate you coming in and giving River City Sports Media the opportunity to sit down with you, kind of talk about your recruiting process, why you chose where you're going to play at the next level, and so forth. So, Hines, you want to start out?
Yeah, just kind of the same way we did with Mason. When did you guys? What point in your career did you guys decide you wanted to play sports at the next level, or thought it was possible?
Ever since I was a little kid, it was always like a dream for me too, and I always knew you just got to work hard all growing up to do it. And probably I started playing AAU. I switched teams to a team in West Virginia like my 6th grade year, and I kind of really knew it was definitely possible, and it kind of went up from there. I got like on a few higher teams, and as like the college coaches are watching, you're like this is real. Like the years are gonna start like coming down to it, and I just knew it was a possibility, and I had to work hard and get better.
Definitely paid off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, I was a little bit of a late bloomer. I didn't realize that like it was actually possible till probably after my freshman year. So, like, when I joined Midwest and started playing AAU with them, I realized that, like, okay, I have the abilities, I have the stuff that to actually do this if I put the work in. And that's something I wish I would have done a little sooner and started working harder from a younger age. But, I mean, I realized it when I did and was able to put in enough work to get to where I am today.
So I think I take 2 things out of that. One, Bennett, I would say for kids or parents that are watching or watch this, it's never too early.
Yeah.
Right, to start working and teaching work ethic, right? Or to start fine-tuning your craft. And option 2 is it's never too late.
Yep.
As well, right? If you might be, like you said, a late bloomer and then decide, listen, to something I want to do, you just have to make up for a few of those lost years and pick up a little bit of that difference in work ethic or weight room or whatever the case may be, right? To get you ready for that next level.
For sure.
So,
2 different paths, but that's, both living your dream. That's pretty cool.
yeah, I think that's something special about Soda County that gets overlooked a lot of times. Is we have a lot of great athletes in this area that have the opportunity to go play at the next level who've not got the exposure or the flowers they deserve these days, and that's why we're doing what we're doing to get that out there. We got great athletes in this area who's going and doing big things at the next level that doesn't get recognition, who needs that recognition.
For sure.
So, Gavin?
I think something I noticed with you guys, especially around like your junior year, there was a lot of discourse of, who's the number 1 option out at Minford? But whenever I'd go watch you guys play in person, there was never any, it seemed like animosity. It was almost like the better one of you would play, the better the other would play. And you guys would build off each other. And the moment I think back to was the lob in the regional final?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
you got the energy you guys just play with on the court. I mean, you build off each other. Do you think did you kind of block out that noise that people were trying to put in?
Shake and bake.
Yeah,
Shake
yeah,
and bake, baby.
for sure. I mean, a lot of people are always like, do you get mad when Bennett takes more shots than you, or does he get mad if you take more shots than him? It's just like, if one of us is hitting shots, it's like, give them the ball. Like, if they're the one hot that game, you give them the ball. Like, that regional championship game, I didn't make a shot, but Bennett was cooking, and it mattered. As long as we won, that's all that mattered. And
Yeah.
I think he's the same way. Like, no matter what happened, as long as we came out with the win, we didn't care who had the most points or what happened.
Yeah, I mean, we put all egos and everything to the side. I mean, as long as, like, we're best friends and we've always been that way, just winning's all that matters. So, like, I could care less if I shoot the ball once and don't make it. But if he's cooking and he's cooking, then it's just like, if we're winning, we're winning. That's all that matters.
So leading into that, the winning and winning. I know, obviously, I've seen you guys grow up. Very young age, playing against my son. You guys created some history at Memphis this year, something that's not been done with Coach Shoemaker, winning a district title. That was his first district title, correct?
Yeah.
Obviously, his first regional title, Final Four appearance. So for you guys, I know for a long time that that everybody's putting those eggs in this basket with this class that was coming through, and I think playing you guys twice is probably I would have to say outside of playing at the Combo, was probably the two biggest high school crowds I've ever seen. It was when Southwestern and Memphis played. Obviously, your place, they were lined up at 3:30 to get in. It was like 7-4 hoops missed a good one right there. So, but people line up at 3:30, 4 o'clock for a 5 o'clock door opening and a 6 o'clock JV game, and then the game at Southwestern. Both games had over 1,000 people in the gym. Well over fire code capacity, I promise.
Yeah, I've never saw them turn people away at a high school basketball game.
Not until
But that
Memphis.
that environment was crazy that year.
It
Yeah,
was.
it was
That
nuts.
was just an unbelievable atmosphere, unbelievable game to watch, and obviously somebody's got to win, somebody's lose. But I think the winner that night was definitely the crowd that got to see the talent that was on the floor and you guys going at each other. But I think it's huge if you guys want to kind of recap a little bit about the history you guys made for Memphis. Getting Coach Shoemaker's first district, first regional, and then making that Final Four run. Because I know we were pulling for you guys, and I think that's one thing that's special about this county and this area is it's like when the Portsmouth girls went to play for state, everybody was pulling for them, right? Mm-hmm. When you guys were playing, and Southwestern was playing, anytime that we have a team in this area that makes it to that far, it's just the hometown support that you get from your community. You're not from Notre Dame anymore. You're not from Green anymore. You're not from Memphis anymore. You're from Soda County, and we're representing, and we're going to support that school. So, if you guys want to talk about some of those accomplishments, that you guys had in high school, I think you should, because that was some outstanding stuff that was done for school history for you guys at Memphis.
Yeah, no, it was something we've been working for. I mean, since our freshman year. I mean, we had our sophomore year. We really thought that was going to be the year we got it done. I mean,
I think a lot of people did.
Yeah, we had an amazing roster, some really good senior leaders, and we were 22-1 heading into the tournament and just heartbreaking a district championship. But I mean, after last year happening again, and just like, when's it going to be our time? We just knew that we just had to keep our head down and just keep working, and that everything's in God's time and it'll all work out in the end. But like, we just knew that this year was, I mean, our whole lives, everyone's been like, okay, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? It's just like, kind of like Ohio State this year, natty or bust. So we was Final Four or bust. So we just had to do something or something. Like, golly, it was those past 2 years before were rough. They were heartbreakers.
Yeah, like growing up, there was all this hype about us when we get in high school, and everybody was like really excited for it. And since our freshman year, a lot of people were disappointed, and we felt disappointed in ourselves that we didn't get to as far as we thought we could. And this last year, we kind of knew like it's now or never. Like this is the last time.
It's your senior year. I don't get another chance, right?
Yeah, it's the last time all
it's
our
time
seniors
to put up or shut up.
get to play together, and especially in those big games. Josh came up to us and he's like, "This is why you play high school basketball. Like this right here. These are the fun moments. You don't want to play in a gym where nobody's there and you win by a lot, or you want it to be packed and a good game." So we kind of just looked at those games as just great opportunities to go out there and just for our fan base too, just the amount of support they had for us, and we just had to play as hard as we can, no matter how good, if we were making shots or doing everything. We just knew if we played as hard as we could, we'd make them proud, and it was just long awaited, and we all just trusted in God and prayed about it really, and we just knew that He would keep us all on the right course, and it all worked out.
You guys definitely made the area, the hometown, proud. Even in the Final Four game, I mean, that was a game. You talking like,
That's impressive.
you know, I'm gonna say. There's a minute and a half in that game that I think that really changed the outcome of that game, and you guys know exactly. I know when it is, I'm sure, because you played it. But watching it from the outside, there was a few things, just 2 or 3 small things in a minute and a half that really could have changed the outcome of that game. And I do believe the team that you played was shocked. They weren't expecting that. Like, we're playing some country white kids, and what do they bring to the table in the
They
Final
brought
Four,
it to
right?
them. The grit and fight that they talked about all year. I mean, and that's tough when it is like, you know, Final Four or bust, like you said with Ohio State. That's tough when, I mean,
You're going against a team that was looking to what, 3-peat, right?
Yeah.
So they went 3-peated this year.
and you guys
You
were
know.
toe to toe with them. I definitely think you made the community
It was
proud.
a 12-round fight, man.
Yeah.
It really was.
We knew going into that game that we were the big underdogs, and I think that was the first time in our whole like high school tournament career that we were the underdogs going to a game, and we were like this is our time to. We don't got to worry about all the hype and stuff. We just got to go out there and play as hard as we can.
Playing
And
with house money, right?
yeah, throughout that whole game, it was just kind of like just one more minute, like survive one more minute. And I remember we watched it back, and we went down by 10 in the third quarter, I think. And a lot of people, I don't know how many people told me after the game, it's like we thought it was over there. Like they went on a big run, and we came back. We had a few big shots, and it was just straight down to the wire, and we gave us a chance to win at the end. I guess
That's
really
all you
matters.
can ask for.
Yeah, I mean, that game being played in St. Clairsville, Ohio, was just the weirdest location. It was just
You
like,
guys had a long travel.
yeah, 3 hours,
I
15.
spent a year and a half there working. I know where it's at.
Yeah, but the thing that was most impressive to me was we get there, right, and we see the crowd lined up almost a half mile, what it looked like. Hour before game time, we're like, okay, so people are going to be here. And then we get to the game, and it starts, and it's like, all right, and then we go down and score. We're up 2-0, and our crowd comes down, the whole crowd doing a defense chant. It like caught me off guard. I looked in the stands, I was like, oh, all right, it's go time, it's go time. And then
That raises that blood pressure
Oh,
another
yeah.
level, doesn't it? Right?
I mean, just like I really think the reason that the game ended up how it was just our crowd like willed us. There's times where it's like, oh my gosh, these guys they were really good, and it was just hard to keep competing. But like our crowd really, I felt it just kept me going. I know that.
I think it was pretty odd that in the tournament you guys go play your games at the Combo, and if you would have made the state final, you go up to UD Arena. But in the state semifinal, you kind of get compacted into another smaller gym. Do you think the smaller gym played into that atmosphere?
I think that smaller gym, I personally, I like it better because the atmosphere is so much louder and everybody's so much closer. Like when you play at the Combo, everybody's kind of up above you, and the crowd has a factor, but it's not even close to when they're in the bleachers. Right, you can stand out and touch them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just think that smaller gym really helped us too, because a lot of teams aren't used to that crowd and that atmosphere. So I thought that was a big factor.
Yeah,
for
I mean,
us.
when we were looking at the stands, like Lutheran East brought 230 people.
Yeah.
Our side's completely filled. It's like, all right, so they're definitely not going to be used to this. And we've, like you said earlier in the season, we played Webster.
Yep.
With the packed crowds, like that's something we've been used to.
I think you guys packed it every night. It seemed like every Medford game I watched you guys this year, you guys always had great crowd
Yeah.
support.
That just goes out to our community. We give all our success to them because like they came out, supported us night in, night out. It is unbelievable what they were able to do for us, and to be able to do what we did for them was just something that I'll forever cherish.
So you think helping benefit you guys, the hostile crowd and stuff like that Lutheran wasn't used to seeing, and you talk about the crowd giving you guys that extra, I guess, edge that you needed, right? Seeing your fans there early and whatnot. Was there a little bit of a chip on you guys' shoulder when you guys seen it was the Memphis Eagles instead of the Falcons? Did that upset you guys in any way?
So
I honestly didn't even know until after the game about
Because I know
it.
some parents were pretty upset because
Yeah.
they made it very vocal on
gosh.
social media. They were very upset that you guys are the Memphis Falcons, not the Memphis Eagles.
yeah, no, that caused an uproar. But I had a little chip on my shoulder. I know me and Myles did because our AAU coach is up from the Columbus area, and he's got like inside with the reporters and all that, and they all had us like
15
the line was like
underdogs.
15 and a half. Like they were saying we're gonna get blown out, and no one thought we had a shot in the world. But like we all knew maybe some of our own crowd knew we didn't have a shot in the world. But like those 15 guys in the locker room and our 4 coaches, like we knew, like we had a shot.
Definitely believed in you. I know I talked to your dad a little bit before that game, and he said the coaches came to you and was like, we can sit back in a zone and try to keep it close and do that, but he's like, the kids want to go toe-to-toe. They want to run with him.
What got you there?
Yeah, and that's
I
that's
think
impressive.
that's the most impressive part of it, because a lot of times you see a team go make the Final Four and the final scores, they lost the game 42-40. They sat back in a zone, held the ball for a minute at a time. You guys ran end to end with them. Game finished in the 70s. Like, it was. I mean, I remember I'm sitting there watching. I was home for the weekend from college, and I'm sitting there watching it. Like, oh my gosh, they're gonna do it. And down the stretch, Lutheran Reed. The biggest thing was they weren't making their free throws down the stretch, and you guys were taking advantage of that, staying right there in that game.
Yeah, credit to them for doing that, because a lot of times you do see teams like, hey, we've had a great year. Let's keep it close. Let's keep it respectable. But they go, I mean, and that says a lot about the kids on the team.
Yeah.
You know, let's go beat them. Let's go toe-to-toe and show them why we're here.
And I'm sure it didn't help when the cheerleaders turned their back on you guys, right? When you guys were getting announced. So, yeah. Some of like Bennett's dad and then even Josh could tell you some things that back in the day the cheer blocks used to do that was really, really good, which you're not allowed to do anymore because everybody's a baby and wants to wear their feelings on their sleeves for some reason, you know. So with that, let's kind of get back on track with the recruiting thing, right? So for both of you, 2 questions into one. How did your recruiting process get started? And 2, what do you feel some steps that you guys took during your recruiting process helped you get the exposure that you needed to get to the next level?
My recruiting process personally started, it was about freshman year. We went to OU team camp, and I played well one game, and their coach started reaching
Coach Bowles?
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like whoa, like this is happening. Everything's starting to go down. And I kind of stayed in touch with them a little bit, but for, I guess, the D2 colleges, it was my last year of AAU in between the summer of my junior year, and I played with Midwest, and my coach Grant, he was a big help in it, and he was really helpful in getting coaches to look at us and come to our games. And it was kind of every game we played, there was at least 2 or 3 college coaches there to watch us. So you kind of had to bring your best every game. And it kind of really took off there because when you played good one game, they start reaching out to you, and you start that relationship and start communicating back and forth.
And I know the other thing that kind of goes hand in hand with that is, there might be a college that sees you at an AAU tournament or a camp. They might not be looking for a guard. They might not be looking for a forward, right, in that upcoming recruiting class. But they got a buddy at another college, another university, and they pick the phone up and say, hey, listen, I'm at this camp or I'm at this AAU tournament. You need to get down and watch this kid. Like, we don't need him where I'm at, but I think he's a good fit for your program. Coaches network across the board, a lot. So what about you, Bennett?
So, I mean, my recruiting really started this end of the summer going into my junior year. So I was playing AAU, and that's really when I started to get my footing and get my coordination, and that's where I really started seeing my work pay off. We were playing in South Carolina, and I had one good game in front of this D2 coach, and later on, in August, he extended I got my first offer from him, and then it just kind of was a domino effect from there. I just continued to work, continued to
so you think
keep my head
AAU
down.
ball had to
Yeah, you just the
so
coaches.
you play AAU ball for, right? Because AAU ball, obviously, certain teams have a certain prestige,
Yeah.
right? Softball's the same way. So if you're playing for a certain organization, there's a little bit of clout that comes with playing with certain organizations. What about camps? Did you guys go to camps or anything like that, or invited to camps? Or
I went to. I actually went out to Air Force. It was an invite-only camp, and went out there this summer, and it was probably the only camp I can ever say that like helped me get an offer, because like they extended an offer late last summer after I went to the camp, and they said a lot of the reason they were like, we like who you are as a player, but the commitment you showed to fly all the way out to Colorado to come to this camp actually like shows that you want to be a part of this, and like if you were to come here, like it just shows the level of commitment you'd have to us. So like other than that, camps are just so, you'll go in a camp, you'll pay for it, and then there'll be 80 guys on 2 basketball courts. It's like, I mean, obviously I'm gonna bet on myself to say like there's probably 4 offers to go around for this camp, but like they really are just trying to see the guys that they've been in touch with and they've been recruiting. So like Mason said earlier, if you're not personally invited by the coach to come to this camp, they're just, I don't know. I have my own opinions about them, but
no, that's good. That's why we want you here, right?
Yeah,
I
I
just
just
kind of tell your story how it worked out for you guys. Gavin,
I've seen it throughout the interview, and I've seen it when you guys play. You guys both are very open about your faith, and I truly love that, and I think that's something you can carry with you to the next level. I mean, Myles, I've seen you do your pregame handshake about 100 times. I mean, it's something very impressive for guys that at your age to be so sure and open about it, and I'm really impressed by it. Do you think your reliance on your faith has been a key part of your basketball journeys this far?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially, it kind of started back in soccer season, really, and we started doing team devotionals, and it was kind of crazy how the community kind of got involved with it too. And then going into basketball season, we started this thing where, well, before every game, right after national anthem, like it was at first it was only a few of us, like we prayed, dropped on one knee and prayed, and then as the season went on, it was like more and more of the team got it, and like towards the end of the season, everybody was on one knee praying after the game, and it was just truly like a blessing to see. Like we go to the convo, and we had a theme of Jesus Won shirts, and you look up and the whole crowd has Jesus Won shirts on, and like I said earlier, like this whole season we just relied on God, and every week we had devotionals, and we kind of knew that we just had to trust in Him as the season went on, that He had a plan for us, and it was just truly a blessing. And it's also just to spread the word. I mean, there's a lot of people who are really trusting God and really put their faith in Him, but sometimes they're kind of scared to spread their faith about Him and put it out on social media. And this past year, I have also just seen more people putting it out on social media and like making it aware that like we're trusting Him, and I just think that's truly special, and it's been pretty sweet to see.
Yeah, it is special because we're all called to be disciples of God, right? And I think you've seen that a lot. I think probably one of the biggest teams that you see start that revelation, I guess, this year would be Ohio State in football. And now it's just, and there's been some others, and there's a couple guys at Ohio State who have strictly just social media pages for that, which is blown up, which I think is great, right? Yeah. Especially for guys like you in high school taking your faith so serious. For those younger kids at Memphis or other schools to see that, to get them introduced. They may not have ever stepped into a situation and had nobody in their life to explain it to them, but they look up to you guys as role models, right? Because, that's Bennett, Kayser, that's Myles, Montgomery, they play basketball. What are they on the knee, right? And that starts getting explained to them of why, or you guys explain to them why, could really motivate and change their life in a positive way that normally wouldn't happen. So that movement, I think, for you guys to take that at such a young age and step out was very courageous for you guys to do that.
Yeah, no,
like you said, a lot of people would hide and not want to do that.
Yeah, it was awesome just because, I mean, He's given us all these gifts and all these like abilities, and we just we really took it into this year to give back to Him. Like He's given us all this, so let's spread His word through basketball, just so that way we can play for Him. That's one of the things that we really yeah, we're going to go out there, we're going to try to win, we're going to have fun, but we're going to give all the glory to God, and we're going to give all the glory to Him, and we're just going to let Him take control, and we're going to do what we can do, but leave the rest up to Him.
Awesome. So, Myles, I got a question for you. So, breaking news yesterday, West Lib's head coach is leaving West Lib, right, and pursuing his career at another university. What's that mean for you and your future at West Lib?
Right now, just a lot of thinking. I mean, I obviously got to wait and see who the new head coach of West Liberty is. But, yeah, I just got to think a lot, pray on it. I know God has a plan for me, and he's going to help me make that right decision. But it's kind of shows you, like, the recruiting process, just how crazy things can happen. I mean, I was originally, think back to last summer, I was committed to Cedarville, and their head coach left. And so at that moment, I had some time. I kind of had to scramble, and that's when West Liberty looked at me, and I really liked just that culture, especially for the basketball team and the style they played. But, yeah, right now, I'm definitely still looking towards West Liberty, definitely my top choice still. But just got to wait till the new head coach comes and kind of see what happens from there. But just pray about it, and I believe it'll all work out.
So if they gave you any time frame of who or when might fill that role or that void?
They said that the new head coach will come out within like the next week or two.
Okay.
So I should have a pretty good idea, so shouldn't be waiting too long.
So Bennett, for you, originally you were committed to West Lib, right? And then decommit from West Lib, and then commit to Nova Southeastern, which again, like I said, congratulations, going to Florida to hang out for a while, right? What made you switch from going to West Lib and decommit and committing to Nova Southeastern?
So Nova Southeastern I really liked the play style. Like, it was whenever it came down to it, was time to let's start thinking about committing. I committed towards the end of AAU season to West Liberty when I was playing with Myles, and my buddy Cam was on our A team. Like, they all were already going to West Lib, and I was like, all right, so this would be cool to go in and
Keep
play with them. But then as as time went on, I just, something in my heart just felt like I'd
It's time to break away from Myles. You can say that. You can say
no, it's not that. It's something I just didn't want. Yeah, I just didn't want to. I was starting to get second thoughts, and I just didn't want to. I just hate the thought of living with regret.
Yeah.
So
I think it goes back to when we was talking to Mason earlier, right? I asked that question: if I quit playing basketball or this or that, or career-ending injury, would I stay at that university to finish my career? And if the answer is yes, then go there. If it's no, I'm just going to play basketball, then it's not the right place for you to fit in. And obviously, that's kind of sounds like what happened to you, right? There were some second chances. Your heart wasn't in. Committed to West Lib, right? And so how did the Nova Southeastern come about?
So
that opportunity.
My AAU coach, the trainer for the AAU organization's named David Dennis. He played at Nova Southeastern, and we have a real good relationship. And his best friend is the assistant coach down there. So back in June, he was like, hey, we got some couple good guys for the system. So that pressing system. He came up and watched us up in Cedar Point during June ball, and really liked it. Really liked the way I played. So I went down in July on a visit, and so we were I went out to lunch with the head coach before we had to play. I didn't know we were gonna have to play. He's like, yeah, I've had some guys who come in here on their visits and come in and play, shoot the ball too much, and don't get offered. And then he was telling me all these guys that have come before me who play bad in their things. I'm like, well, that's great. Now I'm about to go play after he's just told me this. But no, had a really good workout and just really good guys, and it was awesome to go down there and play with them. And then after that, he extended me an offer. Then I committed to West Liberty, and then after talking to my AAU coach, he had a lot of part in my recruitment. So I told him that my heart really wasn't in it, and he was like, well, good, because Nova Southeastern's coming or calling, and they've been asking every day. They were just they really wanted me to come down there, and I really liked the program. So whenever they heard that, they extended me an offer, and then I ended up switching to them.
Congratulations, both of them. Congratulations. So heading to West Lib, headed to Nova Southeastern. Obviously, Nova just wins the Division II this year. I think 3 years ago, Myles, West Lib was it 3 years ago they won 2 or 3 years ago, they won the national championship.
They were in the championship.
In the
yeah.
championship.
They lost this Nova Southeastern.
They lost to the
yeah.
Southeastern. So there's a good opportunity that a lot of people in this area who watch you guys play together for a long time will get the opportunity to watch you play against each other.
Yeah.
For a change, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it'd be
No
truly,
smack talk there, will there?
Nah, I don't know.
It
Depends on who wins.
Yeah,
Depends on who
that
wins.
is true.
There'll definitely be some bragging rights. But
Ultimate bragging rights. So I think it'll be awesome if we get to play against each other because not even Memphis, but a lot of Sauter County will be there to watch us. So
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Be awesome.
Everyone will have your guys back going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Oh, so we had a question that come in. So so it was for Myles. So the question is there the opportunity, do you think there is the opportunity that you might head with your old coach from West Lib if there's an opportunity?
Right now, like I said, just kind of everything's up in the air. I just kind of got to wait and see what all is going on. But it's definitely a door that's open, and I'm not going to shut any doors right now. So
when the recruiting process happened, obviously you love the university, you love the settings, right? Or you wouldn't just go there. Obviously the coach is the reason you want to play for a coach like that.
Yeah.
So I think, from the aspect of the coach leaving and going somewhere else, I would think the university would have to understand, or the new coach who took over would have to understand, like, he didn't recruit you, this coach did, right? So there couldn't be any heartache if you had that opportunity to go with the coach that actually recruited you to begin with. I think, I think you got to pray about it, man, because was it West Lib or the coach, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was obviously a little bit of both, but yeah, like I said, just gotta pray about it, and I really just gotta keep all options open before I know. I don't really know anything that's set in stone right now,
Right.
and it's all gonna happen quick, and I just think I'm just gonna have to, like I said, pray about it and trust that God's gonna help me make the right decision.
So, Bennett, what's your plans at Nova as far as major?
I'm already enrolled in the exercise science program, and then after that, if I can, I'd like to go play overseas if that's a possibility. But then when it's time to start settle into it, I'd like to pursue a degree in physical therapy.
Okay, Myles?
Same thing, yeah.
Because the only reason I ask you, because I know when you were a kid, I heard a lot of times you talk about, I'm going to be a referee.
Me?
When you were younger, there was a lot of comments that I want to be a referee one of these days.
Well, I think I'll save that for like the Pee Wee. I don't think I can get much higher than that in refereeing.
Okay.
So.
I don't think you might.
Yeah, we tried that. We're not very good.
Advancement, right? Get that advancement. Maybe come back and give Hoppy some lessons since he never gave you guys any calls. So, with that being said, congratulations to you two. I think it speaks of your character for the way you guys talk today about your faith, about your basketball, the tools that were given to you by God, and the opportunity to go to the next level of further your education and play. And I think, Bennett, you talk about maybe a little bit of going overseas. Probably a kid I would reach out to right now is probably Tanner Holden and talk to him. He's that kid, an injury, and right now, and is still hanging in there with the team out of Texas in the G League. And it doesn't happen very often in the G League. It's usually if there's an injury, you're out.
Yeah.
And they still got him on the roster and hanging out with him, right? Giving him that opportunity. Hope he gets healed up. So, but it just goes to speak, I think, of your guys' character and your hard work and from what you guys done at a young age to where you're at now. You can talk about the high school basketball, the success you guys had, but your parents obviously are over the moon with what is up for you guys in the future. I know there's a lot of people in the community that's proud. Obviously, we are. We got you here, and we wanted you guys to tell your story, which I think is unbelievable. So, with that, you got any more questions for him?
How can everybody follow you?
On Instagram, Myles_Mont10 is mine.
You can follow me on Instagram, Bennett_Kayser1, and then Nova Southeastern men's basketball.
Yeah, West Liberty men's basketball. Go give it a follow.
All right.
Sounds good. Okay, so we got Medford Zane Trace coming up in baseball. You guys two Medford grads. Tell everybody why Medford beats Zane Trace.
Medford beat Zane Trace because we've been rolling hot. First game of the tourneys, 10 runs in the first inning. We got a unstoppable pitcher-catcher duo, whether it's you got Jack Shoemaker on the mound, or you got Mason Bradley on the mound, or you got Max Lauder on the mound, or we got JD behind the dish. I mean, if the bats are rolling, I think we're the best team in the state. So,
and they have probably the most hostile. I was at that game. They have probably the most hostile crowd I've ever seen.
I was going to say the same thing. I covered 2 of their games this year, and I would say their cheer block is probably one of the best cheer blocks I've seen for a baseball game in high school. Or the only cheer block I've seen.
I've said this.
It's these 2 and about 14 other kids.
I don't know if I've seen the pitcher in that game. I don't know if you've ever seen college baseball, Texas A&M. They do the ball 5 chant. That chant was going on for about 10 minutes in that first inning, and it was loud.
Hey, the Dirty Birds, they flock wherever the Falcons go.
I know the first game that I covered for you guys this year, Jack pitched. He threw a complete game. I think 97 pitches what he threw. First time he's pitched since his freshman year, hasn't played. And yeah, you guys were nonstop that game. I mean, it was enjoyable to be there and watch that. So obviously, good luck to Memphis tonight as well. Other than that, let's go to commercial, and then we will wrap it up, and then we'll come back and wrap it up. Thank you to our sponsors, Hang Chevrolet in South Webster, Deemer's Food Fair in Willersburg, the Scioto River, the Portsmouth UPS store, Portsmouth Brewing Company. Don't forget to follow us on social media, RCSM740. Like, share, subscribe, and share it for sure. And again, Myles, appreciate you guys coming down.
Thank you.
Mr. Bennett, I appreciate it. I'm watching kids grow up, and you definitely make the area proud for what you guys have accomplished in your life. And we look forward to see what you guys do down the road as well.
Yeah.
Heinz?
Best of luck. Go follow these boys. They're going to have 2 good college careers.
Absolutely. Gav?
Best of luck, brothers.
All right, let's go to commercial, and we'll be back.
You just lead the way.
All right, we are back with River City Sports Media. We're here at the Scioto River with the River Roundtable. Thank you to our sponsors, Hang Chevrolet, Deemer's Food Fair, Portsmouth Brewing Company, the Portsmouth UPS store, and let's roll right into Heinz's Pick 'em and Hit 'em for the week. But before we do, again, I got to bust your chops about last week. The Celtics, you said, was a green. It was a Mike Green lock. Take the Celtics. I put my kid's college fund on the line, and now he's got to take out student loans because I lost my hind end.
That is bad. I lost money too on it. If it makes you feel any better.
But did you lose your kid's college fund because I lost mine?
I did not. Thankfully. But that was never even close. +3.
No. Yeah.
They got beat by what? 40. 30?
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't even the ballpark.
No.
So
that was bad.
So enough said with that. Give us your picks for this week for the NBA.
So tonight I'll go back to NBA, try to get some redemption. You got Knicks Pacers tonight. That was a good game the other night with Halliburton.
Awesome game.
Tying it up late. I think New York gets back on track tonight and covers the 6.
You're saying Knicks and the 6.
Gavin's going against me, I know.
No way.
Yeah, I'm going to lay it with the Knicks tonight. Take Knicks -6.
Knicks
If
-6?
you are betting against the Pacers, you have not watched the playoff system.
They are hot right now.
It's unbelievable the way they win basketball games. Like, someone mentioned this. They're like, you can be beating the Pacers for 30 minutes, and then all of a sudden it can be wiped away in 2 minutes.
That is, what were they down the other night? 9
They were-
with like
They
50
scored
seconds.
9 in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, they scored 9 points in a minute.
So guard Aaron Nesmith the last minute of the game tonight.
Exactly.
Try to-
Yeah. All right, so
That's
you
all
guys
I got.
heard it. Knicks, take the Knicks and the -6. It's a Mike Green.
Yeah.
You heard it from Hines. Pick him and hit him. Gavin, let's roll in right into Gavin's greats.
Yeah, today we're going to talk about Gwen Sparks. She graduated from Notre Dame freshman year out at Pitt, and she had herself quite a good year. 3.2 ERA, had a 7-7 record in 13 starts, made 23 total appearances, so 10 in relief. She had 1 shutout, 4 complete games. Pitching up at that level, very impressive out in the ACC. I'm not sure.
No. I know what you're looking. They did not play Virginia.
They did not play for
They do play Virginia next year. I talked to Mason last night.
That game's going to be something we're going to keep an eye on. Hopefully they get to face each other at least once.
So really, if you look at it next year, you got Pitt in the ACC, and you got Gwen Sparks from Notre Dame High School there, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have Macy Eaton at Virginia in the ACC, and you'll have Katie Boggs at UNC in the ACC next year, all from the Soda County area,
That's
which
crazy
is
to think about.
huge.
3 players in ACC.
But yes, I seen Macy last night, and I asked her, and she said, no, they did. Pitt was not on the schedule this year. They are on the schedule for next year.
Yeah, and
So we get to see that showdown.
I think that's going to be
The
very
Gwen
interesting.
Sparks and Macy Eaton showdown next year in the ACC.
And I think the most interesting thing is all year she only allowed 40 runs, which sounds like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, softball, they're playing 60, 70 games,
Yeah.
which is unreal.
Yeah,
at that
you're
level.
playing it upwards in the 60 range of games.
But only 40 runs this year, struck out more than she walked, limited extra base hits, which I think is a huge deal at that level of softball. If you can limit them to singles, allow your defense to work behind you, you'll be able to get more outs and be able to create
Yeah, you give
double
yourself
play
out
opportunities.
double play opportunities, 100%.
But and only she did all this as a freshman.
Freshman.
I think is the most impressive thing. And
I really do. I mean, we talked a couple weeks ago about Macy Eaton walk in, have the opportunity to hit as a freshman. This year she's in there. She's playing first base. She's hitting. And then like I said, Gwen, excuse me, comes from Notre Dame, goes to Pitt ACC, walks in there and steps in the circle on the bump as a freshman in the ACC. And listen, the ACC is no slouch when it comes to softball.
no,
Let's be honest.
no, they're not. And I don't believe Pitt made the tournament. I'm kind of
They did
combing
not.
through it here. They did not.
Pitt did not
And-
make the tournament.
And man, Virginia lost in 2 heartbreakers in the tournament. They played North Florida and lost to them twice in
Yes.
that regional. I hate that they didn't get another shot at South Carolina because they put up a pretty good fight against them early in the season as well. Just a tough way to go out for them, and I just hate that. But again, the ACC, very good softball conference. Obviously, the SEC still rules as far as sending the most teams to the tournament.
Correct.
I mean, when you have 20 teams in your conference,
They're the
at the end of
mecca.
the day, it's just going to happen. But ACC, I believe they sent 5 or 6 teams to the tournament this year. I assume they'll do the same next year, and I would love to see. It would be wonderful to see all 3 of Virginia, North Carolina, and Pitt all make the tournament next year.
Yeah, kudos to those girls again for having the opportunity they got by their hard work and their work ethic, for sure.
But we can move on here to talk some the rest of the baseball. We talked Memphis already, but let's go ahead and move to a different part of actually Memphis is Division 6, so we'll move back down to Division 5 first. Memphis is Division 5. On the other side of the Memphis-St. Trace game, we have Ironton and South Point. Obviously, Ironton, they are the higher seed. They got the bye. South Point able to get a 2-0 win against West in the first round. I was expecting a little more out of South Point in that first round game, but I think this is Ironton's game to lose.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Hines?
I'd second that, yeah.
And I believe Ironton beat them both times in the
Yes,
regular season.
they did.
On the other side, Portsmouth, they play Northwest. That is a 6-7 matchup. Portsmouth won their first game.
Northwest is
11-0.
on a heater.
And
They're on a
Northwest
heater right now.
Northwest won a 5-0 game against River Valley. It seemed like they controlled that most of the way.
And kudos Northwest. We did confirm 19 years in the making. They did win the SOC
Yes.
this year. It took them 19 years. So 2 huge milestones in the SOC, this year. Northwest winning and Southwestern.
Yes. And then the last Division 5 bracket we have here, Valley, coming off their bye, they're going to play 14-seeded Fairland, who upset Oak Hill in the first round 11-2. And then 5-seeded Wheelersburg, they're going to be playing 8-seeded Wellston. Wheelersburg, they beat Alexander 10-0. Wellston, a 4-1 win over Nelsonville York. So that one should be a pretty good one. I feel like if Berg throws their top pitcher, they should come away with a win in that, which could set up a rematch between Wheelersburg and Valley.
So is Con back?
I believe Con is back.
I know he's been in, he's been out. So I think a lot of that, you got Heimbach, on the mound. Is Con back? What's he going to bring to the program in that game? And again, what Coach Derek Moore does. It's night and day. You just never know what you're going to get out of him, right? So.
A lot of Division 7, they're still playing their first round games. Green plays their first round game tonight. They shouldn't have any trouble against Federal
Where they at?
Hocking. They're at home.
Home tonight?
So they'll be Federal Hocking. So they're out in the furnace tonight.
Huh?
Might
be able to cover that one.
Yeah, I might get out there with you maybe.
Unfortunately, Notre Dame fell to Corning Miller in the first round. They lost 3-5
Wow.
in that one. So an early exit for Notre Dame. So in the other side of Division 7, Webster played New Boston. They really took it to them 12-0 last night.
Yeah.
They play Fairfield in the second round now.
New Boston hadn't won a game all year.
Yeah.
No, they were 0-16, I believe, going in the tournament.
So they play Fairfield in the second round, and then they play Southern.
Fairfield and Webster will be a really, really good game.
Yes, that will be a good one. And then on the other side of that bracket is Clay and Southern playing against each other.
Webster, even though they put up those points against Northwest, they haven't really put up a lot of runs per game.
Yeah.
So they are going to have to. A 1 or 2-0 is not going to beat Fairfield for Southwestern.
No, they're
this
gonna
next game.
they're gonna have to find some
break out
runs.
the hitting streaks. They're hitting sticks.
But that's all I got for baseball. Obviously,
All right.
the brackets are starting to narrow.
Yes.
I mean, we're starting to get into the district championship season. The rest of the way, from what I can see, a lot of the games are either going to be at Paint Stadium, they're either going to be in Athens, Ohio, or they're going to be in Logan.
Yes.
So
Yes.
those are the 3 areas to kind of keep an eye on. That's all I got.
All right. Well, speaking of districts, last night Williamsburg girls softball and Coach Teresa Ruby won their district game last night. They beat Adina handedly. And when I interviewed Coach Ruby last night, I had some insight for her. So her record at Williamsburg is she's won 11 district titles for softball at Williamsburg. She's won 5 in a row. 2 years she has not won, but she made it very clear to me last night. The 1 year didn't count because that was a COVID year. So she didn't have the opportunity to win, she said.
I think there's a little more to that in that COVID year because that was Mace Eaton's freshman year.
Correct.
And I think she might lose some sleep over that year
Yes.
of what could have been in that first season.
That was a loaded team that year.
That was.
That was a very
and
loaded team.
Very loaded senior class as well.
So I'm gonna tell you what. Last night I sent some videos to you guys. Man, Williamsburg, they just put on a hitting clinic last night against Adina. They did. So with that, so we got softball still going on.
Yeah. So Wheelersburg, they will face the winner of a game tonight. Zane Trace and Piketon. We talked about that.
Yep.
On the other side, it's already decided Tusky Valley, they're coming out of the East.
Yep.
And they've won that, I feel like, a couple years in a row.
They're there. That's a team that's there year in and year out.
They are going to play Wellston, who won against Northwest.
Yes.
And we mentioned it that Northwest, they're going to be relying on their one bat. She hit 2 home runs in that game.
Correct.
And it fell 3-2.
She did.
She hit 2 solo home runs.
She hit both those home runs off a pitcher that's going to, I believe, Western Michigan.
I think so.
To
And
pitch next year.
Wellston has a very, very good pitcher.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if I feel like it's lining up for a Wellston-Wheelersburg regional final, if that game happens, that is going to be a very good game because Wheelersburg, they're a team that can rattle some good pitcher. Adina had a very good pitcher, and they really took it to her.
Yeah, they did. So and that's 2 trains on a train track would be a great train wreck to see right there. I promise. I mean, that'll be a good one for regional championship game.
Yeah,
So
that'll be a great one.
All right, Gavin, you good there?
I'm all good.
Hines?
Good.
We good?
Yep.
So, guys, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Today's guest, we had Mason Parker from Portsmouth West High School. We had Myles Montgomery. We had Bennett Kayser from Memphis High School. And again, make sure you follow us on social media, RCSM740. Again, thank you to our sponsors, Deemer's Food Fair, Haynes Chevrolet, the Portsmouth UPS store, the Portsmouth Brewing Company, and the Cellular River. Without those sponsors, we would not be doing this for you guys. We would not be spotlighting our area talent and high school athletes. And again, make sure you follow us on social media, like, share, click the button. With that, stay tuned next week to see what we got lined up for River City Sports Media. And don't forget, we'll be out covering softball and baseball games as each team and track as the season carries on. So, again, stay tuned, and we'll see you guys next week. Thanks.